Alright, welcome back to the channel. Warhammer Man back in the studio, and let's take a look at this week's Sunday preview. Before we get started, I'd like to remind you to make sure to like and subscribe for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, and warcry content as well. Sunday preview. Tyranids are coming, and the Realm of Beasts awakens. So obviously we know it's just a matter of time, and it's looking good. It's time to start training your pre-ordering muscles because next week brings an almighty load of upcoming goodies your way. From hungry alien monsters and windswept, ghoulish wastelands to classic Fellowship of the Ring, movie moments, and the next action-packed White Dwarf. Let's have a quick rundown of the upcoming week's highlights. There's plenty to get through, so without further ado, let's ring the galactic dinner bell. Codex Tyranids. Nice. The Tyranids have been busy bugs since their standout performance in last year's Warzone Octarius books, and a new Codex Tyranids kicks off the next phase of their invasion. This book takes everything Tyranid players love best and cranks it up to 11. From swarmier hormagaunts and more potent poisons to bigger, stompier monsters with bigger, nastier bioweapons. So obviously we see a regular Codex and then a special edition or limited edition Codex. Same cover. Just doesn't have like the Warhammer 40k logo at the top and sort of like the border. We know what these are going to be priced at. No surprises here. $55 for the regular Codex and $90 USD for the limited edition one. You'll even be able to consume entire worlds and fuel your expansion with in-depth crusade rules, taking your army from the battlefield terrors to an all-devouring high fleet. This 128-page tome is also available in a luxury collector's edition with a soft touch cover, foil lettering, and a black ribbon page marker. Prestigious evolutions to make you an envy of your fellow hive drones. And we know those do typically sell out, the collector's edition. So the Parasite of Mortrex. So we did get to see this model already. Very cool. Parasite of Mortrex also arrives in the wake of the death of its namesake planet with a stunning new model that's equal parts powerful and deeply unsettling. This bat-winged horror rakes across enemy lines with razor-sharp claws, but by far its most terrible weapon is the long ovipositor tail. So this thing has some cool rules. Definitely fluffy. There's a stratagem that lets it fly over top of you and do some mortal wounds, and then also drop like infections inside of your units, potentially spawning ripper swarms, doing additional mortal wounds, and taking away objective secured. Pretty cool, pretty fluffy. Also, aside from the stratagem, it does have a single attack with its tail in combat, where again it can do mortal wounds and potentially infect a unit and do additional mortal wounds, or again spawn a ripper swarm. And then finally, it has some cool abilities for like the hive mind that can be passed on to your army as well. So, not a bad unit. I don't know how many of them we'll see, especially probably not likely in competitive play. The idea of spawning free Ripper Swarms is pretty cool. If they're coming in, I think it's 15 points for the Ripper Swarms. So if you spawn, 1, 2, 3, 4 Ripper Swarms, you could essentially be getting like 60 free points. Not bad. Not really like a game changer though. I mean, if you think this guy's already costing, I want to say it was like around 80 points. So getting another 60 points for free is pretty cool. But could you have spent that 80 points on something much more useful? Probably. I think it's cool. I like the model, and it's definitely fluffy. So there's potential for it. Probably see some. It's a cool kit. I'm not sure that I'll be picking this one up. Maybe I will just because it's a cool model. It'll be fun to paint and everything. But probably not going to make its way into much competitive play. Although, again, for fluff, it could definitely be fun. As if being impaled by a huge barbed spike isn't bad enough, the parasite seeds its victims with eggs, causing untold agony until swarms of Ripper bloodthirsty burst forth. Oh, bloodily burst forth, sorry. It's truly one of the most gruesome ways to dispatch your opponent's favorite models, which makes it an absolute riot for Tyranid players. And then next we have Combat Patrol Tyranids. So we've already seen the contents of this. The latest Combat Patrol box lets you take a leaf from the Hive Mind's favorite playbook and flood the table with a horde of 36 newly improved termagants. If there's a tough nut, even they can't crack. The Hive Tyrant and its 3 Tyranid warrior companions will gladly crush it underfoot. So this is, overall, nice box, 43 models. So one of the bigger boxes may actually be the biggest model count-wise. Each one of the swarms of termagants is going to come with a Ripper Swarm as well. So you actually get 3 Tyranid warriors, the Hive Tyrant, 36 termagants, and then 3 Ripper Swarms. So, not bad. Not bad. I want to say it is $80 for the warriors, $60 for the Hive Tyrant, who can be made into a flying Hive Tyrant, or also into the Swarm Lord. So you have quite a few options with that. Regular Hive Tyrant, flying Hive Tyrant, or Swarm Lord. The warriors come with all kinds of weapon options as well. So there's 60 and 80, so that's 140. And then the Termagant squads are 35 apiece. So that is 105. So it's 245 in value. Retail is 150. So you're saving about 95 bucks on this. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now, composition-wise, I don't think most armies are going to take 36 Termagants. I don't think that's realistic. And if they do take 36 Termagants, they're probably not going to want multiples of this Combat Patrol box. I think most armies will use at least 1 Hive Tyrant or Swarm Lord, probably 2 if they do separate detachments, because it's 1 per detachment. I think most armies will probably take at least 3 to 10 Tyranid warriors, because they're good, cheap synapse creatures, and they have decent abilities. You can make the Tyranid Prime out of that kit as well, who again is decent, background firepower or extra melee. Doesn't take up, if you take warriors and a Prime, you don't lose the extra slot, because I think it's taking warriors allows the Prime without a slot, if I'm not mistaken. And then one offers exploding 6s in shooting, the other offers exploding 6s in combat as the synapse ability. So they're both pretty good abilities. You build them all out of the same kit. The Swarm Lord and Hive Tyrant kit, again, most armies probably would use 2 of those. If this box set had 1 squad of Termagants, 1 squad of Hormagaunts, and 1 squad of Gene Stealers, I think it would be exponentially better. Or 1 squad of Hormagaunts, 1 squad of Termagants, 1 squad of Gargoyles. But having 3 squads of Termagants, while I think that's cool, and Termagants, people hate on them and say they're too expensive in points or whatever, but there's a lot of stuff that can increase their durability. I think a lot of people are neglecting how powerful Termagants are, and the Tervagon is. That's the army I plan on building. I'm going to do a Termagant heavy army with Tervagons in it. I think it's going to be super fun. The Tervagon is like 215 points. He gets to spawn 10 free Termagants once per game. So there's 7 points apiece, so that's 70 points. So you pay for 215, and as long as you spawn those Termagants before he dies, you're really paying 145 for the Tervagon, for the mama, and then 70 points for Termagants. That's pretty good. And then as long as you have at least 16 Termagants in a squad within an inch of the Tervagon, and between the target, or you're the target, I guess, and the firer, you can't target the Tervagon until that squad is below 16. So if you have a couple squads of 25 or so, they have to chew through those squads all down below 16 before they can target Tervagons. So if you have a couple Tervagons spawning 10 free models once per game, and then each turn replenishing damaged units, 2d6 Termagants you can return to play from a damaged unit up to its maximum, you can end up getting quite a bit of points for free basically out of these. So if you take a 2,000 point army with say 2 Tervagons in it, you're really getting an extra 140 points. So you're really having a 2,140 point army. So that's actually a pretty big deal. I mean, it's not crazy, but that's like 7%. If you were crazy and took 3 Tervagons, that's 10% of your army bonus. So your opponent has 2,000 points, shows up ready to play. You have 2,210. So that's kind of a big deal. Now, granted, they can die before they put them on the battlefield, and that's not even counting the models that you can replenish to your units. So if you have 3 Tervagons and they each for 3 turns spawn 7 back, that's 21 per turn times 3 Tervagons, or 2 Tervagons more realistically. So 14 per turn times 3 turns. You're talking about quite a few Tervagons. I mean, we're talking about like 42 extra Tervagons coming back. Termagants coming back from the Tervagons. It's kind of a big deal. Again, I mean, is it going to be game changing? Are Termagants that great? They're not amazing, but they're pretty durable. If you start doing the math on them, and let's say they have the 5+ invulnerable save from your synapse from the zoanthropes, and then let's say you have a squad of like 30 of them, and you put on like the feel no pain, suddenly you have a 5+ invulnerable save and a 5+ feel no pain, and then depending on what faction you're playing, you could have they can't be wounded on 1s or 2s, so now they can only be wounded on 3 through 6 with toughness 3. All of a sudden you're talking about 30 dudes taking over 100+ shots to kill. So if you have like 30 or 60 or 90 of them, your opponent might actually not be able to deal with them nearly as much as they think. And by the time they do deal with them, they actually have decent guns now. Strength 5, -1 AP, 18-inch range, and then you can give them pluses, to hit from the Tervagon, gives them +1 to hit, 1 unit per turn. And then on top of that, you have, some strats that do a little extra damage. And I don't know. I think they're pretty good. I think it'll be fun. Swarms have been out of the game forever. I'm going to build like some clever little movement trays, I think. And maybe do like a little swarmy army. Maybe do a, speed paint on a Tyranid force, combat patrol or something like that, and see how it goes. We'll see. Also, if you don't like Tervagons and you have one you want to get rid of, let me know, because I'm looking to pick up a couple. And they just happen to be not available currently. So let me know. I would definitely get after that. But anyway, let's keep going here. But so overall, I like it. I don't think it's going to be for most people, at least not more than one. I suspect we're going to see trillions of gaunts just like flooding the world, but not necessarily on tabletops. Probably going to see more hormagaunts on tabletops and more termagants like for trade or sale. You even get 3 Ripper Swarms to use with your Parasite of Mortrex or harass your opponent's flanks. Combat patrol boxes are designed to get you right onto the battlefield with a force totaling roughly 25 power level worth of models and the 43 miniatures in total. This will be an impressive start, or a mighty boost to your Tyranid collection. And it is. I think it's a solid core for most armies. Now, are most people, again, going to be taking Termagants? I don't think so. I think most people are going to take Hormagaunts for their troop choices and Tyranid warriors. And I don't blame them. They're really good, but I like the idea of just swarming a bunch of like nearly useless bugs that are surprisingly durable. So Tyranid data cards and dice sets. With so many slavering gribblies to take care of, you'll want to keep your rules near at hand, and nothing is better than a good pack of data cards to keep your stratagems and synaptic imperatives in order. Team them up with some fetching Tyranid dice, and you'll be the talk of the next Hive Fleet get-together. So Tyranid cards and dice, we know the cards based on recent prices are going to be $33. We know the dice based on recent prices are going to be $38. I normally like the quality of the Games Workshop dice, but not for whatever reason. They just always are kind of a miss with like colors or whatever. These are really nice. Well, am I going to pay $38 for them? No, definitely not. But they're big, chunky. They're purple, which is the Tyranids color, and they have the symbol on the 6. The white contrasts really good with the purple, so you can read them very clearly and from a distance. These are probably some of the best dice that I've seen from them in a while. They're also super, super basic, and you could easily get these from like any other company, but they are nice. Like the Eldar ones, they were like those cool, like kind of like semi-clear, tinted, like kind of turquoise looking ones. And then they have the white dots. You can't even read the freaking dice when you roll them. So these are good. I like them. The Tyranid release have all been put back by a few weeks in Australia and New Zealand. We apologize for the delay, but rest assured that these bugs will be with you very shortly. Classic Space Marine Captains. But wait, what if you're not on their side? You'll need help of an expert, an anti-Zenith warfare. And no one has as much experience kicking Tyranid behind as Space Marine Captains. So here we see some OG Space Marine captains. This is like the OG Ultramarine, OG Dark Angel. I guess that's an Iron Hand. Yeah, I guess from the bionics and everything, must be an Iron Hand. We see a Space Wolf, a Blood Angel, and then just a generic captain. These 6 classic captains are returning to the web store shelves on a strictly made-to-order basis, so don't miss your chance to own one of these pieces of Adeptus Astartes history. So, most of the time, when they redo their old stuff and bring it back, they redo it in resin from like Finecast. We saw something different with the Eldar. Or at least it was the first time I noticed it recently. The Eldar stuff that came back, everyone that I checked, which was like the Harlequin Troop and then a couple other models, were all metal. So I don't know if these are coming back actually in metal like they originally were, or if they're coming back in Finecast. But if that's a decider one way or the other, I would definitely look into it. Once I see the details, obviously when they're on the web store next week, I'll let you guys know. But it's definitely worth noting that if you like metal and don't like Finecast, don't rule these out yet. Or, arguably the other way around as well. So if you only like Finecast and don't like metal, don't pick these up without double checking. So, but it is cool they're coming back. Obviously they look terrible. They're all like super, super dated and OG looking. The proportions are all messed up. But they're cool. I mean, they're definitely like reminiscent of the old days. I remember seeing most of these models on the tabletop or in my personal collection. Good riddance, though. I much prefer the Primaris looking stuff. I know, it's debatable. Everybody hates it. They love the Trueborns, but the Primaris stuff just looks so much better. And it's plastic, so. So on to the Warhammer Age of Sigmar. If battling against an overwhelming alien invasion isn't your cup of tea, how about a nice relaxing holiday to the plains of Gur instead? After all, it's all smiles in the realm of peace, right? So Season of War, Thondia, wrong. With the era of the beast in full swing, the continent of Thondia is awash with wild warbands. On top of detailed maps and bestiary of lore, Seasons of War, Thondia contains reams of rules for scraping over these savage lands in open, narrative, and match play, as well as fielding the terrifying incarnation of Gur itself, the Kronspine Incarnate. The new season of Warhammer Age of Sigmar sees fighting intensify following the return of Kragnos, and the narrative takes its next thunderous step in his wake. Where will it end? Lead? You'll need to read Seasons of War Thondia to find out. So we see a regular book. We see a special edition book. Pretty cool cover. This one is nice. I do like the gold inlay and everything. I'm not sure what the prices will be on these. Looks like these will be available separately from the main box. And the fact that there's a limited edition one definitely tells me that they will be. I would say probably somewhere around like $55 to $70 for the regular one. And probably $90 for this one. Let's say $55 for this, $90 for this. That's my guess. For true adventurers, a Regal limited edition version will also be available with the intricate sigils in the front, picked out in gold embossed foil. It is a striking addition to your collection and also has a premium feel cover and handy ribbon page marker to keep your most important rules close at hand. I will not be picking those up. Realmscape Thondian Strongpoint. The Kronspine Incarnate arrives in Realmscape Thondian Strongpoint, a collection of highly detailed Gurish scenery that brings your battles in the era of the beast to life. Dawnbringer Crusades toil desperately to bring Sigmar's civilization to the mortal realms, and these half-completed buildings speak of nascent settlements under attack from the many perils that beset them. So we have the Thondian Strongpoint. I imagine this is going to be right around like $200. We just recently saw the... Let me picture how big this is. This looks like just one board right here. So if it's one board and just scenery, my guess is it will probably be around one... Man, are they going to go $195 on this? Oh, that's a tough one. So this is existing terrain. These 3 pieces are existing. And then this well deal is pretty cool. I like it overall. And then the skeleton, pretty cool. And then, our little Gur Incarnate. So I wonder if this is going to come in around $200. Because it's not just terrain, and it's technically a model, and the model is only available in this set, so far at least, I would imagine this is probably going to be like $195. And I think if you were to buy this, and this individually, they probably are around $50. Most of this comes in the regular starter set, but it also comes with a bunch of models too. So I'll be up to date with the prices once I find them out, probably Monday or Tuesday. Well, most definitely Monday or Tuesday. The Kronspine Incarnate itself is a beautifully detailed model of cracked bone animated by swirling primal magics. Its fury can be commanded by any faction in the game, but you'll need to be aware its fickle nature should their control waver. You'll find rules for this mighty magical beast and the new terrain in the Thondian Strongpoint in Season of War Thondia. So if you do buy this set and you want to use this beast, you're going to need the book as well. Makes sense. This model could go either way. I actually don't think this model is bad. I think it's like pretty cool. I mean, it's not amazing. It's not like dragon amazing compared to like the Undead Dragon or some of the other dragons Games Workshop offers. It's not that amazing, but it's pretty cool. I think the paint job is a little basic, and that makes the model look a little basic. I think if you gave this to one of the prime painters of the hobby, or somebody like super creative, I think they could absolutely kill it. Because I think if we saw more of this like kind of like ruinous glowing yellow, instead of just like this regular old like, I don't even know what you would call that, boring yellow, I think it would look much more alive. Or if it was like a blue or a green or a pink. So I think if you like the same way they gave like the avatar to a bunch of the like community painters, and they showed up with like all these amazing avatars that were like better than the box art, or at least as good or different, I think you would get the same result with this guy. I think he could be made to look absolutely stunning. Game term wise, it's probably going to be pretty good as well. It's cool that it can be for any faction. So if you're playing a faction and you feel like your faction's lacking, pray that this guy's good, because this could help your faction out. Now also, they did mention that the way this guy works, he's sort of like bound to one of your heroes in your faction. And if that hero dies, he can like go berserk and just attack anything, including your own stuff. I think that's pretty freaking cool also. And it sounds kind of rough, but theoretically, he's probably going to be in the middle of your opponent's like thick, fighting their stuff. So even if your hero dies, he's probably just going to keep fighting the stuff that's around him. But I'm not sure how the mechanic will work, but I do think it's pretty cool. So you can have this guy in your army at a price, and if the champion that's tied to him falls, you might pay an even bigger price. But I do really like this, and I like that any faction can take him. So if you feel like you're lacking, pray that this guy is good and pick him up. So Realmscape Thondian Expanse. Expand your battlefield and set your scuffles amidst Gur's wind-swept heartlands with the Realmscape Thondian Expanse box, containing 2 fold-out, double-sided boards. These can be combined to build a perfectly sized battlefield for games up to 1,000 points and expanded further as your battles grow. So this is the Thondian Expanse. We just saw one of these 40k board packs come out. And the board pack is 2 boards, and it's $60. So I think that's most likely it's going to be the same price. It's possible it's only $50. But this is 2 boards. The regular game, and it doesn't show the back of the boards, but I'm assuming it's the same. But if we look at this, we can see pretty clearly where this is separated into 4 pieces. So this is definitely only 1 board. But this is enough for 2. So obviously, if you were going to play on these 2 boards and you had that kit, you're going to need way more terrain than that. Because this is like, I mean, it's not bad for 1 board, but it's kind of naked. I mean, you have like 5 pieces, and this one's kind of puny. That one's okay, more like probably useful. So you're going to need some of your own terrain. This is probably not going to be enough on its own. I do really like that terrain and the aesthetic of it and how it blends with all the existing stuff. Alright, so Middle Earth, strategy battle game. I have never actually heard anyone comment that they play Lord of the Rings. If you do, If you're a Lord of the Rings player, comment down below and let me know that you're interested in this stuff. Because I feel like no one ever comments or says anything about anything Lord of the Rings related. And I wonder, am I wasting my time with this stuff? I obviously love Lord of the Rings. The lore, the stories, the books, the movies. The models look terrible to me. Only because in comparison, they're just horrendous. Now, some of them are okay. But in comparison, these to like the Sigmar models, there's no comparison. And I don't know anything about the game, so I can't compare to the game. But just curious if anybody actually likes this stuff. Yet more classic moments from the Lord of the Rings. Fellowship of the Ring can be yours to own. As 5 Middle-earth strategy battle game sets return to the limited made-to-order run to celebrate the movie's 20th anniversary. Fellowship of the Ring. Depicted at their most optimistic moment, the Fellowship of the Ring are assembled once again in the set of 9 models. Field them as a single force, and you can take on an entire army, using each member's unique skills to fight off hordes of evildoers. So here we see the OG Fellowship. Pretty cool. Battle of Khazad Dûm. Reenact the iconic scene of Khazad Dûm. Just be careful of dropping your own Gandalf. And then terrorize the forces of good with an especially powerful Balrog. As you might expect, this creature is a force of destruction on the battlefield, capable of sweeping aside entire armies by itself. Again, the Balrog's cool, Gandalf's cool, but I mean just nothing compared to the Sigmar models. Escape from Orthanc. Set includes Gandalf and the Great Eagle Gwaihir, famous for their daring escape from Isengard, and the sought-after Palantir upgrade for Saruman, which allows him to use its scrying powers to turn the tide of battle. Feel free to fly the One Ring directly to Mount Doom. It's probably a lot quicker than walking. So here we have an eagle and a little battle between our boy and the evil one. Attack at Weathertop. Replay the Ringwraith's attack on the hobbits at Weathertop with this set of 10 miniatures, including Aragorn, the Witch King of Angmar, and it even comes with a tiny fireplace so you can cook up some tomatoes, sausages, and nice crispy bacon. So here we got the hobbits, Aragorn, and then the Lich King and his bros. And of course a tiny little campfire. Ambush at Amon Hen. Take the hobbits to Isengard after the climactic ambush at Amon Hen, with the battlefield models representing key moments of battle. Heroes can be used to form a legendary legion of both good and evil armies, and someone's even pre-filled this version of Boromir with arrows for his heroic final stand. So we got some pretty cool orcs kidnapping the little hobbits, little battle, and then obviously he's getting Boromir'd up. I mean, again, though, look at like this and then look at like the new Orruk models. There's like no comparison. No comparison. So White Dwarf 475. Check out your... Alright, so is this one? I always get comments from the UK people, and a lot of times the words throw me off. Because let's be real, Games Workshop has horrible proofwriting, and absolutely terrible spelling, just everything in general. But sometimes words are actually spelled differently. Is this a real thing? Articles? Right here? Is that a real thing? Is that actually spelled correctly? Artycles? Articles? I feel like I would have seen that before if that was a real thing. So, check your articles and strap on your engine harness. The Kharadron Overlords get their own tome celestial in this month's White Dwarf 475. There's clearly some Aether Gold to be made in the skies over Thondia, as the Kharadron are heading out there in droves. This Fresh Rules update is just what the Aether Chemist ordered, and there's a new campaign too. So they get their own tome celestial in this month's White Dwarf. So it says Kharadron Overlords Ruled Update, exclusive Warcry campaign, massive 40k Warlords battle report, Galactic War Host Heretic Zealots, Fighter Aces in Aeronautica Imperialis, and much more for Warhammer, Age of Sigmar, and 40k. And then it says also Flashpoint Knockmoon. Really like this. Cool little like ruins on his gun. We also return to Warzone Nakmun for another look into the downward spiraling conflict. The Wardens of the Gauntlet are assembling, while especially puritanical warriors from all faiths get a boost with new Crusade rules, and there are even rules for using Be'lakor's followers alongside the upcoming Chaos Codex Knights. Interesting. Be'lakor's followers. That's pretty cool. We obviously saw that Be'lakor steals the homeworld of House Raven, and that's one of the Knights one. If you didn't check out the Knights video, went through all that. So new from Black Library, Classic Inferno 46, get your fix of Warhammer's fiction. In Classic Inferno 46 returns from the murky mist of Black Library's past. Features stories by Dan Abnett, C.S. Godo, Nathan Long, and C.L. Werner. Inferno was the first ever publication to emerge from the nascent Black Library, and the reissue is a great way to collect. Add a classic edition to your shelves. So, print on demand, Old Inferno, Titanicus book on, iPod books, cool. We got the new episode of The Exodite, the final episode. I did not realize it was only going to be 3 episodes, but this is the final one. Coming this week on the 6th, it says. And then a battle between, Fire Slayers and the Sea Elves. And then a couple other articles as well. And that looks like it for this week. So, kind of trailing off there at the end. Some of these reprints and everything. The White Dwarf doesn't seem too amazing to me. I only pick them up when there's something in particular I'm looking for. Definitely not picking up the Expanse. This guy could go either way. Pretty cool. I think someone could do a nice paint job on him. This looks like a pretty nice set of terrain. I do really like this thing. The monster guy's pretty cool. The dead dragon is pretty cool. I already have a few of these from the starter and everything, so probably not going to be picking this up, but I could see how people would find that appealing. I think if you didn't already have terrain for Sigmar, this would be a nice set, or if you were looking for an addition. Definitely cool looking books. I'm not into the seasons. I really don't play that much Sigmar. I'm much more likely to play Warcry just because it's quick and fun. The old captains, these are nostalgic and everything. I could see people picking these up for nostalgia reasons or just to paint or whatever, but they look pretty terrible, honestly. These are some of the best dice that have come out recently. No way I'm paying $38 for them. The data cards I might pick up actually, depending. Honestly, just because they're nice to have, especially with Tyranids who have tons of psychic powers. I've seen quite a few people who make their own, and that's not bad. But at what point in time have you spent more time and effort than $33 worth making cards? I think if you spent probably more than an hour or two on them, you probably were better off just buying the cards, because that's $17 an hour or something like that. So I don't know. It's up to you. I like them. I think I'll probably grab those up. Definitely picking up the Combat Patrol. Looking forward to a swarm of Gaunts. And, obviously you can never have too many Hive Tyrants unless the rules prohibit you, which they do. Tyranid Warrior-wise, I already have a decent amount of Tyranid Warriors, so they may end up extra. I would love to get a Turvagon. Maybe somebody will trade me a Turvagon for my Tyranid Warriors. So if you have an extra Turvagon that you want to get rid of that's in nice condition or unassembled, and you want some Warriors, let me know and we'll work out a trade. Or if you just want to, work out something else. This dude, pretty cool. Again, I don't know that he'll make it into my list. Could be really fun. He's good because he dishes out some mortal wounds. He's good because he could do some weird stuff with rippers and everything. But he's not particularly strong or tough. Probably not going to be killing much stuff. I think he's probably more of an annoyance than anything. Taking away your opponent's objective secured could be good. Spawning rippers and doing mortal wounds could be good. Not sure that I have a room for him in my army. I think I would rather have my squad of Venomthropes or Zoanthropes or another Neurothrope. And I don't think I have room for any more of any of those things. So if I would rather those things over him and I don't have room for more of them, I don't think I have room for him. Because 2 Neurothropes would be awesome. But I don't think that's going to happen. 2 squads of Zoanthropes would be awesome, but I don't think that's going to happen. Definitely having 1 squad of Venomthropes. And I just don't know if there's room for the old Parasite. But maybe get one to paint. Definitely going to be picking up the Codex. I do not pay the premium for the premium Codex. So definitely looking forward to these releases. Obviously, we have seen most of the Codex rules and everything. There's always talks of if they intentionally leaked out the Codex to see if people would still buy it, etc. I don't think they did. There was far too many pages leaked. They're more likely it came from like the book publisher or something, and it's probably a big deal. They're probably furious about it. But the quality of the books has been fantastic lately. They're very nicely bound and high quality. So I would just let this one slide if I was them. Obviously, they don't take their advice from me, but I'm definitely picking up the Tyranids Codex, the regular one, regardless of the fact that we already have, scans of the rules and all that stuff. Doesn't change my opinion whatsoever. Doesn't make me want to buy it any less. And having digital rules available wouldn't change whether or not I buy it either. I'm curious if it's the same for you. If you have all the rules available for free online, would you still buy the books for all the lore and everything and the hard copy? Or is it one or the other for you? Or would you prefer not to have the books at all and just be able to buy everything digital? Definitely curious to hear from you guys. But that is it for today. So if you enjoyed the content and you like these reactions, reviews, and news, stay tuned this week, either Monday or Tuesday, for the official pricing in USD and Canadian. And we'll just kind of check with my estimates and see what they actually are so you can plan ahead for the pre-orders. And then, of course, if you enjoy this type of content, make sure to subscribe for Warhammer 40,000, Kill Team, Necromunda, Age of Sigmar, and Warcry content as well. Obviously, touch on Horus Heresy and Underworlds as it is, as necessary. And then, of course, we do commissions, so we show off the commissions as they come out of the studio, do all kinds of painting, modeling, conversion, lighting, magnetization tutorials. So make sure you check those out as well in the how-to video section. There is a playlist full of those. I always show off the techniques, the magnet sizes, the paints, the techniques like for the actual painting, etc. So that's it for today. Warhammer Man Studios. I'm Warhammer Man, and I'm out of here.